everybody, and I have to say this is rather daunting, and for somebody who loves talking, it's actually quite interesting to know how this works going all around. Welcome everybody to Sofia. This is my second city. I love to see so many different nationalities. I don't think we've ever had ever in this event that many different nationalities, so full stop, this is quite fantastic. Without much ado, I'll start. My name is Adina and I'm an addict. I'm absolutely, completely addicted to real estate. Ivan knows it. I am fascinated by office buildings, and my credo is I believe that you can make money in real estate in any market, anytime, anywhere. We've been through two crises. Well, I have been through two crises in real estate, and we still manage to make money. How do you do that? You have to know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you can make some really, really expensive mistakes. As part of a banking industry as well, we have financed such mistakes, such follies, and live to tell the tale. How do you know what you're doing? Well, they say that it takes a village to raise a child. Let me tell you, it takes an entire business community, in my case 18 years of experience, to know how to develop successful office buildings. In the past years, in Central Eastern Europe, we have developed 7 successful office buildings. How did we do it? How did we do it? First of all, we listened. We listened to our tenants, we listened to our consultants, we listened to the architects, and very, very importantly, we have listened to our colleagues from the facility management. In fact, we've figured out that the more we listened to them, the more successful we became. And we started asking them questions earlier and earlier and earlier until it got to the point that we have actually involved them into the designs and into even feasibility studies of projects that we're doing. Extremely, extremely early on. What's happening to the office market in Central Eastern Europe is as follows. It's being disrupted. I mean, it's not being disrupted by digitalization. It's not being disrupted by apps. It's definitely not being disrupted by WeWorks, which is a super hit in London, and I would like to see them making money first. And it's not disrupted by collaboration offices and everything that entails. It's being disrupted by the labor market. And in order to understand that, we have to go back to what happened post-crisis. Companies are really, really changing the way they work. They're outsourcing, nearshoring, settling up centers of competencies, and this is where Eastern Europe is actually particularly fantastically well positioned, with a very well-educated labor force and very well suited for it. As a consequence of that, office buildings are being put under pressure, and we are being challenged to produce super buildings. I mean, we're an Austrian company. We've always had a very, very conservative approach to risk. The buildings that we built 12, 15 years ago, I mean, they're no longer, some of them are still technically valid and relevant, but a lot of them not. We had to really make a decision to go into building super buildings. What do I mean by that? I mean, a lot of you have seen probably, most offices typically, design guidelines tell you that you have to put one workstations for every 10 square meters. Nowadays, we have to deal with companies that want to put one person every 5 square meters. This puts a huge strain on the design of the building. And if you do the wrong design, it's really, really expensive later on. Other things that actually really, really matter to our tenants, such as one of them is actually the quality of the environment, the office environment. How do you get quality office environment? By having actually a very good HVAC system. How do you get to knowing what makes a good HVAC system? Let me tell you, there's nothing like experience. Who has it? FM does it. I mean, of course, we have our own experience with that. But technology evolves a huge amount. When we bought our first project in Bulgaria in 2002, we have bought one building that was the headquarters of Hewlett-Packard, and it was the building of the year 2000. 15 years later, we have demolished it in order to build this building here. Why did we demolish it? It was technically obsolete. This is how quick things actually happen in our industry. And you have to really, really keep up with it. And you have to listen. You really have to listen. Why do you pay all of these consultants if you're not going to actually listen to them? So one of our, about 6 years ago, I was in Vienna, and we were thinking how to preserve, improve, and make sure that we preserve the value of our buildings. Green certification came into mind, and we sort of tossed around ideas, and we're thinking which standard, what to do. We finally settled on LEED. I'm proud to tell you that some of you have seen it, and thank you for coming yesterday. We have the first LEED Platinum office building in Bulgaria, and in fact, it was only one of 2 projects awarded LEED Platinum for the region in the past year. It's been tremendous success, quite a lot of strain on the cost, and it's not easy to build these things. Why do we need the LEED certification? Well, in order to be relevant on the tenant market, all the large corporations, this is one of the demands that actually puts you or removes you on the short list when they decide when to go, where to move. Being green, it's something that is actually a fairly new concept in Bulgaria and in the region in general. And I have to say, in my experience, we've seen it's actually rather two-faced. So on one side, we have all of these corporations that really, really need it. So we decided our last 3 projects, Sky Tower in Romania, this is the tallest building in Bucharest. We're not doing tallest building anywhere else. That was a real challenge. Second one, headquarters of Raiffeisen Bank, LEED Platinum. The last building we built, LEED Platinum. It was an expensive exercise, like truly expensive exercise. If you're thinking of construction costs, this, in order to get a LEED Platinum, increases your construction price by roughly 20 to 25%, and I'm being really, really conservative here. I mean, obviously, we would need, for our tenants, for the large corporations to actually recognize that with increased rent, but market forces are not always at play there. And we decided to still continue on our search and on our quest and on educating our tenants. About 3 months ago, I have come across a research done by Colliers and CMS. And what Colliers has done, I mean, we always read their market reports about what's important, what's not important, how, what is the new thing in offices. What I have seen, what I have read here has shocked me. First of all, they did the clever thing, which is go to the labor market and ask the employees of our tenants what exactly is important to them. Name 10 categories of what is important to you related to your workplace. Obviously, the first 3 were work-life balance, leadership, money. All these 3 are HR issues which we cannot really address. Guess where it was? Having a nice office building. Number 7 on the importance of employees. So they don't really care about what the office buildings are. That's great. I mean, we still build them nicely. The real disappointment was to see that green credentials came out last. This is a survey of employees in Central Eastern Europe. They don't care about being green. And let me tell you, it shows. It shows in how we run the buildings. It shows in how we have all sorts of problems running them. And it shows in actually in the traffic. It shows it really goes a long way to make it at number 10. We need to readdress that. Our mission, together with the FM, is actually to educate people. It's very hard to educate people. At least in this part of the world, and especially the Balkans, let me tell you, people do not like being told what to do. At all. Who are these Austrians telling us what to do? Why should we change how we go? Oh, anybody else? Somebody else will clean it up. Somebody else will fold the boxes. Why do we have so many different bins? Do we really have to put the garbage all in separate places? Yes, this is where we are in terms of people's education. This also shows in the traffic. All the cities have got traffic, and it's increasing. If you don't think green, it's very easy to actually blame the transportation system, but it's actually quite easy to take the bike. Try to carpool. You have 2 kids, okay. You don't need 2 cars per family. And it's a common effort, and we need to start it somewhere. Together with Ivan and a few of our colleagues, I'm very, very happy to say that also Mayor Fandukova is a real fan of this. We are starting little by little the education process of people, of being green, being conservative with their resources, being careful with their resources. And actually, every little counts, and everybody has to actually help. For the future, what you see in this picture is a collective, it's basically our whole office park, yeah? All the buildings that you see here were not there in 2000, 2001. We're talking everything which is behind the large building, and you see now the forest, all the way to the mountain was a forest. It's no longer the case. This is how quickly this city has grown. This is how quickly our offices has grown. The lower buildings, they look quite old style. The newer ones, taller with the Raiffeisen logo on top. This is the jump, this is the leap in technology from what we built 10, 12 years ago to what we had to build now. It comes at a cost. The other thing is, you have to look at it all together. It's no longer office buildings. It's actually communities. All of these people, they have to interact. Right now, as they have quite actually rightly put it, they don't care about the office building very much. They care about what's in there, what amenities they have, and what's the infrastructure to get there. Well, let me tell you, infrastructure does not build itself. And it's very, very hard, even for financially viable institutions like us, to actually build infrastructure for the offices we have. So, together with the FM and together with the city, we are making a concerted effort to actually promote the initiatives and to build more sustainable, more integrated projects. Case in point, I mean, we really love Sofia, we really love Bulgaria. This is one of our fantastic markets. Right behind one of the buildings where you see the forest, we have bought a very large piece of land, 30,000 square meters. We're zoning it right now, and we're zoning it in a completely different way. We're zoning it into an integrated way. We have learned from our mistakes, and as the market progresses and matures, we have to see that actually things are moving in a different direction. People and cities need to stop evolving in the area where we have office concentration here, everybody sleeps in that area or not, and in between we need a metro. That doesn't work anymore. In the words of a lovely Polish person which I've met, they said that one area of Warsaw was so heavily populated with offices, everybody looked so grim going in from all the different residential areas that it looked like going into Mordor, and they called that business district Mordor without Sauron. And this is something that we have to avoid. We have to give people an integrated community of offices, schools, hospitals, places to entertain themselves, places to sport, and actually make it really, really, really green. So for our new project, which is called Expo Forest, because it's located next to the forest, we are challenged. We're challenging ourselves to put something on the market which is unique, but to do it together with the city. Our industry cannot really do anything without the city, and we want to be part of Sofia growing. I mean, hey, together with Mayor Fandukova, we said that we'd like to make Sofia like Vienna. Vienna is my third city. And we would like, in order to get there, we need to educate people as well. We cannot just build it. And it's a process that has started a few years ago, and we're passionate about it. I think that once I finish with developing office buildings, if I'm ever tired of it, I'm going to write a novel. I'm going to write a novel, or maybe a screenplay, about all the crazy things that have happened in our office buildings, all the crazy things that the tenants have said. You can imagine that within 16, 18 years of experience in this, we have been through a lot. Top 3 things. I have without a sense of humor, you cannot really make it in this industry. So some of the funniest things that have happened to us were a very large tenant have asked us to actually remove the cats from our garage. They are a very, very large German automotive industry. I only realized that I cannot be naming names or promoting brands. Let me tell you, they're none of the Dieselgate part, but they're one of the major players. Of course, we didn't remove the cats, but that we had to find alternative ways to actually stop them from coming. The second one is from another project, which was a distressed asset. It's located in the city of Varna. You know, it's a beach town. It's absolutely lovely. And I was running a shopping mall at the time for about 7 years. And needless to say, we didn't have the same quality of tenants as we did in Sofia. None of them were corporations. A lovely place, fantastic terrace on top that ran all throughout to the exclusive use of the tenant, but they also had to maintain it. One of them has asked us, you know, I see these new hedge plants that the neighbor has. Can you replace it with our hedge as well? We never looked this on the top floor. Guess what they were growing? It was not fuchsia, and it was not something coming from Greece. It's something that has recently been legalized in 2 countries and decriminalized in 10. I had to look it up. Needless to say, we had to change our building regulations fairly quickly, and they got Prunus Plinius standard all over the hedge. And number 3, and this is my favorite, this is coming from one of the largest companies in the world. They're at the forefront of every green initiative, and they've been our tenants since 1998, and we have moved them in 3 separate of our buildings. And they come to us and they say, oh, can you please, in the new building that you have built, install 5 electric car charging stations? Of course, this is exactly what I love doing. It's fantastic. What cars are you getting? I'm also looking at getting electric car because you have to put your money where your mouth is. Are you getting the BMW I's? No. Oh, will you be getting Teslas? Please be getting Teslas. I want to see 5 Teslas in our garage. No. What are you getting? Oh, we're getting 5 new Range Rovers. We have a lot to go. Why do you need 5 charging stations? Compliance. Yes. So, please, whenever you have the possibility, change the mind and the mindset of one person alone. I'm not here to save the planet. I'm just here to make things a little bit better just in the area around me. So I think that together with the FM, this is our mission, and we have to fight for it. We have to educate people despite themselves. So thank you very much, everybody, and may the green force be with you.